Evening, everyone. There was a very interesting story which was on one of the Italian newspapers, which is called La Stampa. Um, Pilots caught sleeping while flying. Well, it happens to be a flight from New York to Rome, Fiumicino, and radar control hailed them, called them many times, and they didn't respond. After 10 minutes, there is a aviation procedure of making believe something has happened, which in the end, through the internal investigations of the flight company, which is called ITAL, which was last year founded on the ashes of the old Alitalia. Whoever bought it didn't have an industrial plan, not a serious one. They bought it, which had a social debt of 500 million euro, and it was declared bankruptcy a few years ago, I think 1 or 2 years ago, and ended up in liquidation with a debit of 7 billion euros. Returning back to the fact, it was discovered in the end both pilots were sleeping on the job. Obviously, the plane was flying because it was switched on to autopilot, and you can't land with autopilot. It has to be manually commanded to land it. The captain of the flight got sacked straight away, and personally, I haven't got it with the pilots. I believe ETAL has entered in competition with other carriers. Those low cost ones tend to cut costs and corners. I think it's the same thing here as well. Pilots' annual wage is probably that of a hostess of Alitalia when it was still flying, and they're forced probably into flying more hours than the working contract is stated, and it goes against aviation rules, nationally and internationally. Because there was a plane crash years ago, and they discovered the cause of the plane crash because the pilots were knackered when they were piloting the plane. This is true, but I don't remember what flight it was. It was one of those internal flights which goes from one part of the America to another, and even there is a Far West. I must mention, most of these low-cost companies, like in the old school days, the carriers like British Airways, Lufthansa, KLM, and even Alitalia, they had their own pilot schools, which mainly they got from the Air Force regarding old Alitalia at Rome, or those who hold a civil pilot license and they want to become an airline pilot. That school does not exist anymore. It exists in another form with those low cost market now. You have to take out a bank loan, pay the company which you be in future to be employed are about €80,000, and you have to follow their was it um, flying school of that charter company. That's really disgusting. And it wasn't like this in the past. It was free because obviously investing in a future good pilot pays off in the end. And obviously these managers of these so-called low charter, low cost companies, they're only interested in the profit, not the quality of the service, which they provide as a service to the clients. This thing which happened to this flight occurred 30th of April, a month ago. If we knew more of the circumstances or what really happened, I just think these pilots were exploited, fly more hours than they legally should do, and obviously to earn a bit more. In the end, attack of being sleepy, and you'll get you. You won't even notice it. Well, at least nothing didn't happen seriously in this situation. But we must think in whose hands we trust, not the pilots, but the company themselves, because they cut costs.